Hi everybody, it's Harriet Waley-Cohen here, and it's New Year's Eve. Oh my God, it's New Year's Eve. I don't know about you, but when I was a teenager, and especially in my 20s, and when I was drinking, New Year's Eve was one of the biggest nights of the year. Second only to Notting Hill Carnival, when I refused to go to sleep for several days. But for New Year's Eve, I thought that anybody who who went to sleep before January the 2nd was a complete wimp. That was my party style. So just to introduce myself, hi, I can see there's a couple of people tuned in. So my name is Harriet Waley-Cohen, and I'm a speaker. I'm a double certified coach. I'm certified in health and well-being. I'm also certified in women's leadership. And in order to just give you a little bit of background about me, and so that you know about my association with Club Soda, I have been sober for 15 years and 3 months. It'll be exactly 3 months tomorrow. Hi Belinda, because I got sober on the 1st of October 2002. So it makes it really easy to know exactly how long I've been sober for. And I know that there may be a lot of you in this group who are planning to do a dry January. And so tomorrow after tonight might be your day one. Right? It's handy to start on the 1st of the month. So I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm also a mother. I've got 2 gorgeous boys. I'm a single mother. I've been divorced about 5 years now. I also have a puppy who just said woof to introduce herself. Hi Richard, it's lovely that you've tuned in. And so in my speaking and my coaching, what do I do in my professional life? Because this is relevant to why am I speaking to you guys today about goal setting. I show people how to be in complete partnership with themselves in every area of life. In other words, how to get on your own side, how to know yourself and how to honor yourself. And what happens when you do that, when you're in partnership with yourself all the time, is that you're full of self-trust, you're full of confidence, you're full of self-esteem, you're emotionally and physically well because you're in partnership with your body and with your heart and your mind. Hi Karen. You feel fulfilled as well because you'll be doing stuff that makes you feel fulfilled, that's in alignment with who you truly are. You'll be happy. You will be successful, whatever that means to you as well. So that's what I do, and the kind of people who are drawn to come to some of my in-person talks, and especially the women who I work with one-on-one on the outside, life looks amazing. Life looks really shiny. Like if you looked at your social media, you would think your life was amazing. A fancy job, a fabulous home, you know, look at me in this gorgeous restaurant, look at me doing all this cool stuff. But on the inside, feeling like something's really wrong, not feeling good enough, feeling full of self-doubt, feeling overwhelmed, like everything's too much, and with a lot of destructive habits that bridge the gap between the shiny outside and those feelings on the inside. And partly that's where all this work around helping people who also want to change their drinking comes in, is that getting away from those destructive habits that take you further and further away from being in partnership with yourself is a big deal. Learning to sit with yourself, learning to be with yourself, learning to honor yourself. And so goal setting like a pro, for me, what is that all about? It's about setting the right kind of goals, loving goals that are in partnership with yourself, and having a plan to get there that works, knowing how to manage your emotions and pitfalls along the way, and also giving yourself rewards. And this is what I'm going to be talking about today. So here goes. I've got a bunch of notes because I don't want to miss out anything important. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm just checking in with my notes. So the first thing that I want to say is about the kind of goals that are not in partnership with yourself, the kind of goals that set you up for failure. 80% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions by the end of January, and there's lots of reasons for this, and a big part of that is that people set the wrong kind of goals, right? So hi Karen, so let's talk about goals that really don't work. The first kind of goal that doesn't work is a perfectionist or completely unobtainable goal. So for example, let's say that you've got 30 pounds to lose in weight. If you said to yourself, I'm going to lose 30 pounds by the end of the first week in January, that's completely unobtainable. I once had a girlfriend say, she honestly said this to me. She was on a dating site, and she was like, yeah, you know, this guy seems nice, but he's not a tech billionaire with a swimming pool. And I kind of had to say to her, look, if you're only going to date tech billionaires with swimming pools, your dating pool is going to be really small. So that's an unobtainable goal. Perfectionist goals could also be things like, I will only put a swimsuit on the beach when I look like a catwalk model, right? It's completely unrealistic, because only, I think, 4% of people have the body that the media portrays as ideal, the catwalk look. So it's just, for the vast majority of us, that's completely unobtainable. So the goals that you're setting, if they seem to be perfectionist or unobtainable, and obviously I'm a speaker, and if I only ever gave talks when I thought my material was perfect and my delivery was perfect, I'd never get up there and speak. So your goals, they need to set you up for success and not be punishing. And that brings me on to my second one, which are shaming and punishing goals. Goals that keep you stuck in that round and round and round circle of not feeling good about yourself. It could be one of those things like where you lose 10 pounds and then you put on 12 pounds, you lose 20 pounds, you put on 30 pounds. Ones where you go round and round and round, and every time you don't stay on target, you just feel worse and worse and worse about yourself. And it may be that the goal is good, but that you need a different plan, or that you need to be more in touch with your why. And I'll be talking about that in a minute in terms of what's really important for having, setting yourself up for success. Because when you get stuck in a shaming or punishing cycle, and shaming or punishing could be to say, when it comes to weight loss or drinking, I've got to change this because I'm an unacceptable, revolting person unless I make this thing a success. And that's very, very shaming. That's not coming from a place of love. And goals, one of the other things, kinds of goals that don't work are goals that are made for other people, right? So maybe your boss thinks you should give up smoking, or your partner, or maybe one of your parents thinks that you need to change your drinking, or your best friend says, oh, do this 12-week yoga course with me. And that those could be the kind of goals where you're doing it for somebody else, but your heart isn't in it. Those goals are also not very likely to succeed. The kind of goals that work are ones that you really, really want with every fibre of your being, not just because someone else wants it, and they might even be shaming you into it, which is not a good motive whatsoever. Goals that are not SMART. Now, I know this is kind of corporate speak. SMART stands for specific, measurable, agreed upon, attainable, achievable. R for realistic, relevant, reasonable, and T, timely, tangible. So they've got a time frame on them. So if you just set a goal of, I want to eat healthily, that's not SMART. But if you said, I want to move towards a plant-based diet where I'm not eating processed food, and transition from my current diet to that over the next month, that would be a SMART goal. So I hope that makes sense. Just a goal to be happy is not SMART, because it doesn't tell you what that will look and feel like when you get there. You have no idea, what does that mean, right? So goals that are not SMART. Another thing is goals that come from the wrong emotional motive. There was a study done by a guy called Dan Hawkin who showed what are effective and ineffective emotional drivers in terms of behaviour. And these are the emotions where it does work: courage, willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, peace, and enlightenment. If you're coming from any of those places, you'll be all right. If you're coming from shame and guilt, you're not going to succeed. If you're coming from grief, fear, anger, pride, all of these kind of places will very likely not set you up for success. So check in, like, what emotion am I setting this goal from? And if you're coming from peace, joy, willingness, courage, that's a really good thing. Really, really good thing. Guilt and shame, not good. Here's something that to some of you might sound a bit woo-woo. But hey, do you know what? It's New Year's Eve, and if I want to be woo-woo, I'm going to be a little bit woo-woo. Goals that just don't feel right. And when you say, this is what I want to achieve, check in with your body, check in with your heart. Is this something that feels right? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm about to say yes to something that I should say no to, I get like a closed feeling in my stomach, this whole like, ooh, no. Whereas if I'm about to say yes, that's something I should genuinely say yes to, like my breathing's different, my whole body feels different. It's a very clear, very relaxed yes kind of feeling. So check in with yourself, check in with your body. Does this goal feel right? Intuitively, does it feel right? Because you're the best person to judge if it feels right or not. And a really good question to ask yourself when you're setting goals is, what would I really love? What would I love to feel emotionally? What would I love to experience? What would I love to see? What would I really love to happen? Set your goals from that place of what you would really love. Don't go down the shaming, punishing, perfectionist, goals for other people, from the wrong motive, all that kind of stuff. I want to come on to talk about your why, because once you've settled on your goal and you've checked that it's not any of those things that I just covered, but it's just genuinely something that you'd really love, get very clear on why. Why are you setting this goal? What does it mean to you on every single level? What will it give you? How will it make life different? I would strongly suggest not only writing down your goal and writing down the details of your goal in the smart way. So, give a time frame to it, make it realistic, make it, attainable, all these things, make it specific. But write down your why in rich, juicy, emotional language. Maybe when you lose those 20 pounds, you're going to be able to fit into your favorite pair of jeans again, and how you feel when you wear those jeans is X, Y, Z. Maybe when you change your drinking, you're going to be free from certain things. You're going to have more money in your pocket. Your health is going to improve. It's going to mean a better future because blah, blah, blah. It's going to improve your relationships because... Write down in so many details. Think about every single aspect of your life and how reaching this goal is going to change them. Get super clear and really emotional. Like, if your why doesn't make you feel tearful, it's not strong enough. That might sound crazy, but you need a strong why to keep you going. And one of the reasons that I say write it down is so that later on, when you start to think, I can have that second helping of ice cream, or fuck it, I can't be bothered to go to the gym, or whatever it is, or you know what, I'm just going to have a bottle of wine tonight. When you look at your why, when you look back at everything you've written and how achieving this thing is going to affect you, you'll be much less likely to fall off track. And I'll come back to talk about managing pitfalls and those difficult moments in a minute. It's lovely that so many of you are tuning in. Welcome to any latecomers, and a happy new year to you. We're talking goal setting here. So you've got your goal, you've got your why. We've covered those things off. The next thing to think about is making a plan to get there that really, really works. And I'm going to have a swig of water because I actually, I ate too many cheesy cheese straws earlier. I'm a real sucker for cheese straws. And it's given me a bit of a dry mouth, so I'm just going to have a swig of water before I move on to the next bit. Right. Okay, making a plan to get there that really works. The first thing to say is the very first part of achieving your goal is doing some planning. If you just jump in any old how, maybe you'll get there, maybe you won't, who knows, but have a bit of a plan. And if your goal is around exercise, if your plan is around weight loss, if your plan is that your goal is around all those sorts of things, well, you're going to need an even tighter plan. And if you're making a change in your drinking plan, you need to make sure you've got your support systems in place, basically. The first part of achieving any goal is the planning. So you might need to think, what are all the materials you need? What kind of research do you need to do to get there? Do you need support from friends, family? Do you need any paid experts supporting you, right? Do you need to set aside time in your diary to make your goal happen? If you do, put it in the diary. Chunk it out for the next 3 months. If you've got a goal to run a 5K in April, you're going to need to put your runs in your diary. Otherwise, they're not going to happen. You're going to need to put your training sessions in. Maybe you need to get some equipment in. Maybe you need to buy some exercise clothes. If you're going to be changing your diet, maybe you need some new recipes and some buddies to help you with that. Think about everything that you're going to need that will set you up for success and start to get that ticked off. That might be the first little bit of it. One of the other things that I think is really important with any kind of goals is accountability. Get some accountability. That could be, if you're doing dry January, it might be that you're just going to post every couple of days in the group how you're doing. It might be that you want to have a friend that you check in with every day. It might be that you want somebody who's going to hold you accountable on your diet. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I know, thanks Paul. Paul's saying if you want to change your drinking, get to as many AA meetings as possible, get a good sponsor and follow the steps. For a lot of people, the AA method works. I'm a big 12-step fan, as some of you who know me will know. That's how I first changed my drinking, and I still go to meetings. So if you plan to change your drinking, you might want to consider doing that if that feels like the right thing for you. I know not everybody's an alcoholic, and some people who are don't like that approach, but get a system in place. Get a system in place, get some really good accountability going, so that it's not just you on your own. And it might be that you want to make an announcement in a group like Club Soda, or publicly on something like Facebook, where you announce your goal and you say that you're going to give a weekly update, just to be publicly accountable. You might want to do it more privately. Accountability makes a massive difference to how successful you're going to be or not. So I cannot recommend it highly enough. It's one of the reasons why in my private coaching practice, when people are having one-on-one coaching with me, that it really works, because they know that the first thing I'm going to say at the beginning of their next session is like, right, how did those 3 things go that you committed to doing? And they know that I'm going to hold them accountable. So get some accountability going. It might be helpful to find someone who wants accountability back for the same or something different, but we really cannot stress highly enough how much accountability will make it more likely that things happen. Get really clear on what it's going to look and feel like when you get to your goal, and what the different steps are along the way. You know, if you're going to be running a 5k, you might want to know at what point you want to be able to run 2k and 4k and times and all the different things. You might want to chunk it down so that you know, okay, if I'm doing that in 3 months, what am I doing at the 2-month, the 6-week stage, the 1-month stage? And you might want to think that by the end of the first week, you've got all your equipment going and sorted and in hand, and you've got your trainer sorted, and you know which apps you're using, and blah, 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 right? I'm sure that makes sense, what I'm saying. Chunk it down. Work out what the steps are along the way, and diarise the hell out of everything. Otherwise, it won't happen. If you want to get to yoga twice a week, put it in your diary. If you want to change your drinking, work out what's going to support you and make sure that you're doing that every single day. It might be that you want to read the Club Soda emails. Maybe you want to go to 12-step meetings. Maybe you want to post online how you're doing. Maybe there's certain books that I know Club Soda has an amazing book list. Maybe there's some books that you want to read and commit to doing that will really help you along the way. So whatever the things are, just get it all in place. Make a plan to get you there that will work. A goal without a plan is basically just a wish. You might as well, you might as well just cross your fingers and hope it happens. So I'd really encourage you to make a plan that includes accountability. So what have we covered so far? We've covered goals that don't set you up for success, goals that do set you up for success, your why and why that's so important, making a plan to get there, including the importance of accountability and planning and diarising. I also want to talk now a little bit about pitfalls and what could go wrong, right? Because life is not all plain sailing. Life is not all, everything's fantastic and it's going to be really easy not to drink, or it's going to be really easy to lose that stone by the end of January, or whatever it is. It's never plain sailing. There's always things that can knock you off course. So I like to think that there's 2 main things that can go wrong that will knock you off course. There's emotional pitfalls and there's practical logistical pitfalls. And the 2 most dangerous words known to anyone trying to achieve anything are fuck it, right? So what could make you say fuck it and derail? So emotional pitfalls, it could be maybe you have a row with your partner or your boss. Maybe you get some bad news. Maybe you're hormonal. Maybe, who knows? There could be things that just come along and want to trip you up. Find ways to decompress emotionally and look after your emotional well-being that mean you don't derail completely. This is especially important if emotional eating or drinking to help with your emotions is a thing for you that you're looking to change. If that is the case, then this is what you can do, right? When you think, oh, I'm so pissed off, or I'm so scared, or I just feel shitty, and fuck it, I'm going to have a cake, or fuck it, I'm going to have a bottle of wine, right? First of all, stop. Notice that that's going on and stop. After that, ask yourself, what do I really need right now? What do I need? And if you're angry, maybe it's that you need to express your anger and stomp around the room. If it's that you're scared, maybe you need to talk to somebody. If it's that you're really tired, maybe you just need an early night. Ask yourself what you need. And then give yourself what you need, right? You don't need, there's never any situation where having a bottle of wine or a huge pile of cake is actually going to change the situation. All that's going to happen is that the situation is still there and you've had the wine or the cake, or you've not been to the gym, or whatever it is. Totally lean on people. Lean on your accountability buddy if you think you're about to press the fuck it button. Yeah, Mark is saying hungry, angry, lonely, tired. Absolutely, they're huge triggers. And as you can see, that stands for halt. That's like a massive stop. Take care of yourself. Always take care of yourself. You know, even if you have a fitness goal, even if you have a whatever goal, you can pause what you're doing and just take care of yourself. Process your feelings. Eat something. Have a nap. Have a rest. Take a night off. It's no big deal. The main thing is how quickly you get back on track. Let's say, you know, your best friend has a really shitty breakup and they need to spend the evening with you, and you decide that actually you're going to be there for your friend rather than go to the gym that night. Okay, cool. That's fine to do it 1 or 2 nights. It's not fine to do it for 6 weeks or for the rest of the year, right? To just throw your goal out the window. So the trick is to get back on track really quickly with whatever it is that you need to get back on track with, and not give yourself a hard time. If you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of someone else that's really important to you, just get back on track really, really quickly. That's emotional pitfalls, but just make sure you're taking care of your physical needs for food, for rest, for whatever it is that makes you feel okay, because then you're much less likely to have big emotional triggers come and hit you. Logistical pitfalls. So different things can happen, like you have to work late, or like you're prevented from whatever, your internet goes down and you can't post in the group. Whatever it is, logistical challenges will happen. And it might be that you need to change course, that you need to change the time frame of your goal. If something's happened, something really big logistically happened, and you think, okay, it's no longer something that I can do in a month, it's something that's going to take 2 months. Don't beat yourself up if you have to change the time frame, if you have to slightly change course. You don't need to doggedly keep going down the same path if it's not working out. I mean, this is kind of thing more with goals that may not be, you know, if you keep slipping up with the drink, don't think, fuck it, I'm going to drink forever, right? Ask for help. Definitely ask for help. But there are some kinds of practical goals where the path that you've chosen may not actually be possible, or business goals or something like that. So just have a think about that. Some goals are worth keeping on getting back on no matter how many times you fall off, and other goals the universe is telling you the time is not right or the circumstances aren't right. So for example, I'm on some medication because I was badly injured in a car crash nearly 2 years ago, and one of the side effects of the medication is weight gain. I've been pretty much fixed now by a cranial expert, and I'm now slowly coming off the medication, and I know that it's been completely and utterly pointless to try and lose weight while I'm on the medication. But maybe in another 2 weeks, when I'm pretty much off it completely, it will be realistic for me to start trying to lose weight. So that's a kind of like logistical turn in the road where I just have to say, you know what, right now is not the right moment. Yeah. So, have I missed anything? Yes, I have missed something about pitfalls. Make contingency for, like think ahead of times. What are the things that trigger you emotionally? What are the things that come up that could make you veer off course. Don't wait for them to come up and then go, oh God, what was that thing Harriet said 3 weeks ago about managing your emotions, right? Have a think now about what the kind of things are that could trigger you and what you can do instead, so that when that time it comes, you're prepared. You're forewarned. You're there to catch yourself. Go into this with your eyes wide open. Don't expect nothing to go wrong, because life happens, right? Life happens all around us. So just be prepared for it. That will really, really help you. One of the things that is an interesting thing that I found is that often things that people like to do when they're in the heat of the moment to help themselves feel better are very different from the things that they thought they would want to do to make themselves feel better when they weren't in the heat of the moment. So I had a client who shall remain nameless for anonymity reasons and confidentiality reasons, who she used to work late, she'd get home late from work and do the pizza, bottle of wine, staying up too late thing, right? And she just really wanted to change that. And she came up with this list of things she could do to help herself wind down after work, like watching TED Talks and doing mindful colouring in and like all this great stuff. And then the next time she came home a few days later from work really late, she looked at this list and she was like, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I do not want to watch a bloody TED Talk right now or start colouring in. What I want to do is have a bowl of homemade soup and watch, a couple of episodes of my favourite series on Netflix and go to bed. And so she discovered, that all the stuff she thought she'd want to do was complete rubbish, basically. And so consider making the list of what will help you in the heat of the moment, because that is the very best time where you will be able to judge what's actually going to help you. But do some pre-thinking. Do some pre-thinking so that you don't get caught completely and utterly by surprise. So last little section, goodness, we have covered so much, is about rewards and celebrations. It's really important to do rewards and celebrations. If you don't, you might start feeling like nothing you achieve is good enough and it's not even worth celebrating. You will know whether it's enough reward and celebration to post in the group that you've got to the end of 2 weeks and you're still sober. Right, that might be enough of a reward and celebration and you get lots of feedback from it. You might be the kind of person who really works well on something like, when I've got to the end of the month and I haven't had a drink, I'm going to buy myself some theatre tickets, or I'm going to buy a new top, or I'm going to treat yourself to a night out. You might be the kind of person who says, right, one of my weight loss goals is going to be X many pounds, and when I've done that, I'm going to, treat myself to a massage. Whatever it is, make sure that you factor these in and you know what they are and that they are genuinely rewarding for you. For some of you, it might be that actually getting there is enough of a reward, and for others of you, you really are quite carrot rather than stick people, and just knowing that you've got this thing there waiting for you will be really lovely. So have a think about that for you. My goodness, we have covered the most hugest amount of ground in this webinar today. We've looked at the kind of goals that don't work, that are shaming, punishing, perfectionist, unobtainable, don't feel right in your body, come from the wrong emotional motive, all that sort of thing. I explained the importance of having a strong why and really encouraged you to write down your goal and get really deep into your why so that it keeps you on track. That's a tool that you can use if you feel like saying fuck it, right? Read your why, it'll help to keep you on track. We've gone through making a plan, chunking it down, getting prepared, getting your accountability in place. We've talked about emotional pitfalls, what to do when you feel like chucking it all in, and how you can take care of yourself. And finally, just touched on the importance of rewards. I've covered so much. I know it will have been useful to a whole bunch of you. Please comment, let me know what you've enjoyed. If you've got any questions, any further questions or more things that you'd like to know about this, feel free to tag me in the comment section and ask your question, and then I'll see and I can come back and answer your questions. That's it from me. If you want to stay in touch with me, go to my website, harrietwaleycohen.com. It's my name, all one word without a hyphen. And you'll see a stay in touch, get my free mini ebook place on my website. So you can just pop your details in there, and then you'll get my newsletters and you'll find out where I'm speaking in person. You'll get my free mini book about how to feel really good about yourself, which is aimed at women, but it's just as relevant for men. And all of that. So if that's something you'd be interested in, you're more than welcome to hop on over to my website and stay in touch. I also have a free group on Facebook called Harriet's Inner Circle, where I go live every week at least once and give little mini talks on different areas that people are interested in. So yeah, you can look up Harriet's Inner Circle, you can go to my website, you can tag me on here. People are saying that was fab, and thank you. I'm so happy that you got loads out of it. That means a lot to me. All it remains for me to say is 2018 is going to be amazing. It will be amazing. And please reach out for support with whatever you want to achieve, and know that with your plan in place, your goal can come true. Sending you lots of love, and I'll see you soon.